Hello there, my name is Godfrey Chikumbi and welcome to the Godfrey Chikumbi Football Podcast, where we bring you the untold stories and rich history of Zambian football. Today, we are honored to have a very special guest, a man whose football journey started right in the classroom, took him all the way to Europe, scoring goals against the likes of Aston Villa and Borussia Dortmund youth sides. This man was actually part of the 1975, let me say the legendary 1975 Zambia Schoolboys National Team that toured England and France, belonging to one of the most exciting teams, which was crowned the most entertaining team at a global tournament in France. He later represented City and actually wore the Zambia national jersey for Zambia National Team. He went into coaching where he took his passion with stints at ZESCO United and ZESCO Malawi Rangers. He played a pioneering role in the formation of the Zambia Football Coaches Association. This is a true legend. He is a teacher of the game, a witness of the rise and decline of organized Zambian football for schools. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming the legend himself, LEWIS SHAMBULO. I call him Uncle Louis. Uncle, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
I screamed the loudest. I sang a song for you, and it is worth it.
Wow, that was nice.
All those accolades.
I can imagine.
I am glad to have you, Uncle, here on
Thank you
this
very
podcast
much.
where we tell stories. This is a platform for storytelling. How are you?
Well, could be better. I think we are managing somehow.
And let me say a belated birthday. You just turned 71 years 5 days ago.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad to have you here after having pursued this conversation for a long time. Let's start at the beginning, as usual. Who is LEWIS SHAMBULO?
Well, my name's LEWIS SHAMBULO. I know at the City of Lusaka where I played, they call me Kalulu. Because I used to score goals for them. And then I come from a background where we are 9 of us in the family, with the 7 boys and the 2 girls. And my father was actually a policeman. And I was born in Bonamkubwa before he was transferred to Luansha. We were there for some time. I think that's why I learned my Bemba.
Okay.
And then he was actually transferred back into Lusaka. My father was actually posted here in Chilenge Police. There's a big house there just next to the offices. That's where we lived. Before he was actually retired on medical grounds. And when he retired, he went and bought a farm somewhere in Makena, and that's where I've been living all along. I started my primary school, not really in Luansha, but here in Lusaka, at the Manakatwe School, where I did my grade 1 and grade 2 and 3. Then you go to Chilenge Upper, because that time the lower, you can just be at that school for only 3 classes. You should only be there for 3 years. Then you go to the upper class at Chilenge Upper. That's why I did my grade 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Great. Talking about a school, because I know you've mentioned the schools that you attended. One of the schools that prominently comes out when it comes to your football career is Livala Secondary School. How did that school shape your football career?
Okay, when I got into Form 1, actually prior to that, I had to repeat my grade 7.
What happened?
Because that time it was very tight to be selected. You must have very high marks. So I could not make it for I think once. Okay. The second attempt, I managed to get to Livala Secondary School. Great. That is where my football career started, actually.
Oh, yeah.
But prior to that, we were also playing the compound football. We had the teams in Livala, Chilenge, who could compete among ourselves. the most interesting part is that we used to play that football where we scored 5 goals half time, 10 goals finish ball. And that game used to take us 5 hours to win, to finish.
Why?
Because first of all, the pitches, the goals were small, and the pitches were also very small. But we could play 7 against 7. But to get goals, it was not very easy. So this is how we started now educating ourselves how to play football. Because our football was actually, we were training ourselves.
Yeah.
Because playing football for 5 hours.
Not a joke.
You start now learning how to trap the ball. You start learning how to pass,
Endurance.
how to dribble, how to beat that goalkeeper.
How to head.
Because you need to finish the games.
After 5 hours.
5 hours, you could have scored your 10 goals.
Out of the laws of the game.
There was nothing like that. Anything above the knee is not a goal.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's how we managed to start shaping ourselves, which is not happening now. I think this is where the problem starts when we talk about, the standards have gone down.
You actually come and talk about that because I don't want you to finish.
Okay.
Yeah. Outside of football, let's talk about your family. How many kids do you have? People would like to know.
I was very
about
lucky.
that.
I married the Tumbuka woman, but unfortunately she passed on in 2000.
Oh, shame.
She left me with 4 children, 3 boys and 1 girl. They are all surviving and they are all working and they are now.
None.
These 3, they tried to play, but they diverted to play pool and something like that. I said,
what about your grandchildren?
those are the ones I'm looking forward to because
you have to force them.
Yes.
Are they showing any
I've been asking
form of
them to
passion?
come. I've got some footballs at my place. I try and make them dribble a bit.
Okay.
Just to try and encourage them. Yeah.
Now, let's dive into what is going to be the most interesting story for you to tell. In my preamble, I said you belonged to that legendary squad that was picked to tour England and France. How did you feel being picked among the 16? Because you were among the 16 boys that traveled to England, and it was a trip which followed after West Ham came here.
And
I
it was
think
actually
Nottingham.
the last team we played with was Derby County.
Right at home here.
Yes.
Yeah, and you went there. So how were you selected among the 16?
Very interesting question. That time, first of all, at school, I was picked in Lusaka Select. After Lusaka Select, you go into Provincial Select. Then you go to Zambia schools. That's how we were graduating. So when you are picked now, there were trials for that particular tour because there were 100 boys we were assembled in Kabwe.
100 boys from across Zambia.
Across Zambia. And Grand Peters used to live in Kabwe.
Yes, the
we
pioneer of
there's a
football.
college there just opposite Mulungush on the other side. That's where we were camped.
Oh, is it something like that?
Yeah, there's just opposite the
university.
On the other
that's
side.
Cool.
Yeah, that's where we were camped.
Gideon Robert, something like that.
So what happened there were 100 players. And lucky enough, I was already noticed because I was already playing for Zambia schools at the time. Because in my 3rd year, I was picked to play for Zambia schools.
Okay.
So that year, I was finishing my Form 5. So I was already established. Yeah. But the coaches there, they started now trying to bring the number down. The first 2 days.
Right in Kabwe.
Yeah, right in Kabwe. From the 100, we came to 60. And we were training. And it was two weeks before the actual tournament against Derby County.
Okay.
The tour de Zambia. So we were playing Derby County here. So they picked the last 30. I was among the last 30.
From 100?
From 100. We were camped here at DK. And we were supposed to use a hired bus, but we were told it was in the garage. And we were playing on Saturday. On Friday, we were supposed to have left for Livingston because our first game was in Livingston.
Against Derby?
Derby County. Okay. And our friend, they had already flown and they were already there.
Wow.
So when it came Saturday morning, they went to see if they could fly. They only found 17 seats
On that plane.
to fly us to Livingstone. So that meant that only 13 players traveled, plus 4 officials. So the rest remained. So when they were announcing the first 11, I was not there. I was number 13.
Hey.
So they picked one defender, one striker. And that's how we traveled to Livingstone. We flew to Livingstone and we were arriving a bit late and went straight on the pitch. And I was on the bench. First half, we were down. We were actually at part 0-0.
0-0.
But then the coaches started asking me, Shambulo, can you play number 11? Because Arthur Piri was not doing very well. I said, sir, me, I can play anywhere. Put me at 7, put him at 8, put me even at 11. Are you sure? Then warm up. So I warmed up. I was the only striker. And there were 30 minutes to go. Immediately I went into there. They gave me a through ball and I scored.
Within
a spell of 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually documented. You can, it's there.
What a way to announce yourself on the scene.
Then I also assisted the other goal. We were leading 2-0, but they managed to come down. They scored one more goal. So we won 2-1. We beat Derby in Livingstone 2-1.
Wow.
Do you know what it meant? It means the next game, I was going to be the starter. Number 11. You understand?
and that game was going to be outside the country.
No, we played the first game in Livingstone. The next game we were playing in Lusaka.
In Lusaka, against
the same team.
Okay.
Then we went on to play the third game in Kitwe.
Oh.
That's what used to happen.
Okay.
When these teams come, you play one game in Livingstone.
To entertain people there.
And even exposing us, of course.
And of course. Yeah, now, you later traveled to England.
Because now I had positioned myself. I got the number to play. So automatically I was number 11.
It was assured.
I was assured I was going to travel to England.
Great. Yeah. So I want to find out from you, because what I know is that when you went to England, you played against West Ham, Derby, Nottingham, and the Aston Villa. And at Villa Park, you scored 2 goals.
Yes.
The rest of the 8 goals on that tour of Europe, you scored in France. Tell me about it.
Yeah, the game against Aston Villa, we were actually leading 2-0 at halftime. And then those days, those pitches were not very good as they look today. They were a bit foggy and muddy. Yeah,
They were bad.
Second half we were completely tired.
And
so they took the advantage and they beat us 4-2.
It ended 4-2.
Not because they were better than us, but I think we could just not manage to continue in a the pitch was very rough and very cold.
Any fond memories? I know you took pictures with the FA Cup trophy.
Yes.
Yeah. So any other fond memories as schoolboy internationals?
We took a tour where Derby County actually won the league. So we went to meet the board there and they showed us around. It was nice, and we had even the feel of the FA Cup.
Oh, yeah. Any pictures you have?
I think they were in that book. So I think they're in one of these.
One of the books.
Yeah.
I'll have a look at them.
Yeah.
Now, you left England. You were invited to it was a global tournament.
Youth tournament. Today, the same tournament is being used by youth teams today.
Oh, yeah.
But that time they selected the Zambia schools team.
And there were boys attached to teams like Barcelona, Real Madrid, many other big teams. You played against, during my little research, I found that you played against AC Milan.
Yes.
Borussia Dortmund.
The advantage we took was that the games we played in England, they actually motivated us to play in that tournament without fear. Initially, when we were very young at that time, and can you imagine in 1975 for you to go to England? Those are rare occasions, if I can use them. And very few people could go to places like to play. It was not possible. But we are lucky that we played in England, and when we went to that tournament, we really came out and we.
One of the big talking points from that France experience was that your team was crowned as one of the most entertaining, or the most entertaining, actually the most entertaining team there. How did you play for you to win European hearts?
Yeah, because there was a lot of individual brilliance within the team. You know, there are some of the things they themselves who were watching the games could not believe that the Africans can play like that.
And you are the only African
using
team.
Our own.
You are the only African team.
We are the only African team.
From secondary schools.
And everyone would say that team is very good. And everyone wanted to watch us play. So I scored 8 goals in that.
8 goals in that single tournament.
Yeah.
Do you remember some of the moments and your best goals?
Yeah, it's the game against the Preston North End
of England.
Where I scored 2 goals outside the box.
Wow.
Fantastic.
How many yards?
Yeah, from the outside it's about 18 years.
Okay.
And from there I scored where I beat 2 defenders plus the goalkeeper.
Wow.
It was a marvel to watch. Those who were watching, they were just saying, you are brilliant. I said, yeah.
I can imagine.
So we are even lucky because from that trip, some of us were selected into the national team. And that's how I found ourselves.
From that trip?
Yes, 6 of us from that trip, we joined the national team on our way back. So
what kind of experience did you pick up from there?
Yeah, that you must have mental strength. You can compete at any levels. I think we learned a lot from that trip. And that's how we were graduating very slowly into the national team. It was very easy to actually get into the national team that time, yeah.
Well, I'm made to believe that you joined City of Lusaka, City Amoto. I don't want to say that you joined them after you left school because from what I gathered, you were playing club football while you were still in school.
Correct.
Tell me how you managed to combine school with professional football, of course.
Yeah, it was not very easy, I must say. And that time, our league the league used to be played Sundays. So you will find that you are traveling to the Copper Belt. The day of the match, there was nothing like camping the way the teams are camping today. We used to go the day of the match, Sunday morning at 5. You are going to play Maite in Mfrira. You arrive there around 14 hours. You are seated in a bus where you are 30 of you. And it was very difficult for us to play.
But you had no excuse to lose.
But then after the game, we must travel the same night, arriving home around 3 a.m. And you must be at school on Monday in the morning. So it was not easy. The only advantage I had, I must say, was that when we got into Livala Secondary School, there were 5 classes. So the first 2 weeks, it was like orientation. And then we wrote an exam. So I was among the first 35. So I went into the best class.
Wow.
That helped me to keep afloat, if I can use the word.
Okay.
Because if you are number 25 in that class, you must be number 1 in the last class with the same marks, if you understand. That's the thing which helped me, actually, I must say. That's how I was coping up with the school, because I was among the top, the best students in the school.
Okay.
So that helped me a lot. Yeah.
Before we delve much into your club football success, I would like to find out from you if you still remember some of the members you traveled with to England, and some fond memories, of course.
Yeah, if I can, my memory serves me right. There was Chande used to play for, he was a goalkeeper. He used to play for Ron United. And then there was Sales Mangula, he was also playing for Ron.
Are they still living?
Most of them, no.
Okay.
There's Paul Timfembe, he used to play for, he was in Kafiwe, but played for Arrows. There was Arthur Piri, who was playing for Kawa United. He also eventually ended up playing for Arrows. Then there was Ramswana, who were together at Livala. Livala actually produced three players in that
on
trip.
that trip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the other one used to play for Buffaloes.
Okay.
Peter Njov.
So when you are going to Europe, you already were playing for
City of Lusaka.
Oh,
Yes.
including your friends.
Yes, there were the other guy was playing for Buffalo, and the other guy was playing for LOCC.
That means that clubs believed in school football.
Correct.
Oh, great. Yeah. Let's move. Now, some of your achievements at City of Lusaka, what did you do for City of Lusaka?
Yeah. Actually, the day we are leaving for the Olympics, the team was playing the cup final. I took the team to the finals. Because prior to that, because when I finished my Form 5, there was that compulsory national service, which was introduced by Keke. So when we were writing our last paper, immediately you finish your paper, you jump into the UP's bus to Katete.
So stories we hear that buses were waiting.
They were literally waiting for you.
Wow.
You are just finishing, you jump into the bus, straight to Katete.
Okay.
So that was 20 months of national compulsory national service. But the beauty was I only did 6 months, which was I did military training. Then I was actually they had to release me to join the national team.
Okay.
But how I got to that was we ran away from the camp. I was arriving on Saturday morning. City were playing the semi-finals at Woodlands against Cabo Warriors. Yuka was playing.
Wow.
So when I arrived, I said, should I go to the farm or I go to the stadium? Because I'd run away from the camp. And they started announcing, and those who have run away, they must go back to Katete.
You ran away from military training?
Because they had prolonged the pass out. So we got bored and then we ran away. So what happened was that when I arrived, then so when I went to the stadium around 10, I found the officials were arranging for their tickets, getting to man the gates and blah, blah. You are here? Yes. But the team is in camp. They are at Nipa. So tukupeleka kuja. I was not training with the team. No. You were in the. So they took me to the camp. And Peter Muhango was the captain, was the coach. So when he looked, even
he had stopped playing then.
He had stopped here that time.
That was when?
75, 76.
Okay.
That time he had stopped. And there are some photos where he was actually studying.
Okay. I'll have to have a look at them.
Then he asked me, can you play? I said, me, I'm very fit. From every morning, 4 a.m., we go jogging.
I haven't forgotten.
And I'm very fit. Very, very fit. I said, okay, we'll start with you. Okay, no, that's okay. Unless, otherwise, the other guys, if they're not very happy, maybe I start from the bench. No, you start. And that's how I started that game. And we went to extra time, by the way, 0-0. Yuka could not score. Then I realized that those guys, they were tired. The back four for Kawaras were tired. They were Madalas, Edward Sonda. They were tired. I told coach, can I go and play Q11? That number 2 is...
You started as?
Number 8.
Okay.
Then I realized that for us to win this game, we must go through that guy who is tired.
I need to...
You can't believe this. I got a ball from the center line into the box.
Ran with it.
And that guy, I just did the dummy and I went right into
He flew.
Box. Yes. And this goalkeeper was anticipating that I was going to give a pass. I also did a dummy as if I was going to pass inside. Where I was just coming from, Chigondo. 1-0.
Chigondo. 1-0.
1-0.
Straight from military training.
What I didn't know was Ante Buserik was watching our national coach that game.
Wow.
And that's how I saw myself to be part of the national team to travel to the Olympics.
Tell me about it. So, there's a story that we know that the first team to have qualified for the Olympics was the one that played in Seoul, 1988, that Messi memorized the world Kalusha, scoring a hat-trick against the likes of Italy. Tell me about your 1976 experience. And of course, I'm looking at your jacket here.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's a story that is worth telling. Yeah. So tell me about it.
We played Malawi in a qualifier. And that was my first derby when we came back from that tour. So when we arrived, we were playing Malawi in the qualifier. we were in camp, but some of the players that they misbehaved when they went to Mozambique. So the senior players, most of them, the strikers,
were chopped.
They were chopped. So when they looked around, they only us were from Zambia schools. So the coach was training me as number 7, going to start in Malawi. But I can tell you, when we arrived in Malawi, it was hostile. And they were even saying that we are under strength, and Malawi were going to beat us for the first time.
They mistreated you.
Not really. They were just making too much noise at the hotel. Even
very intimidating.
They just wanted to win for the first time. We were beating Malawi 5-7. You know this stuff? Yeah, all along. So, but that day, because they thought we were under strength, they were going to beat us. But even then, the coach had some doubts about me now, because he looked at the pressure which was mounting in Malawi. He had to change the team. He put Mwila. There was a Mwila from Nkwazi, was left-footed, big fellow. But he uses left. He was now put in where I was supposed to play. And on the left there was Sinyangwe. Then number 8 there was Janice Mulambo Simutowe, number 6. And then we had Obika pick top man, and Alex Chola, and Sinyangwe on the left, and this Mwira on the right.
You're able to remember all of them.
Yes, that lineup I still remember it very well. And Dick Shama was the captain, and 3 there was Kaiser Kalambo, Milton Muke on the right, and Rutova number 4. Jani and Simutowe they were in the middle. So I don't know what our goalkeeper was trying to do. He was trying to clear the ball. It rebounds on the striker, and it went into the net. Yeah.
And who was your goalkeeper?
Emmanuel Mwape. And we are down 1-0 at halftime. Down in Malawi 1-0.
You were sitting on the bench.
I was on the bench together with Patrick Piri. There was Patrick. There was Bizo Chiwe. I don't know whether you can remember. There was Bizo, you played for Buffaloes. There was Mark Masumbuko Kunkana. Yeah. We are all young in the upper bench.
Schoolboy.
We were just young. The whole bench.
Because Masumbuko is one of those that traveled with you, right?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Zambia School.
Tell me about it.
So, 20 minutes to go. We are still down.
1-0. And it was rolling.
So the coach says, he looks at the bench to the right. Can they go and change the game with this pressure? Now, LEWIS Shambulo can warm up.
Anti-Buselik.
Warm up. And if you remember those days, I'm a jazz. Yeah, cream clean. I'm a colors, orange. And cream to suit when they dig some of the big fellows. So some of us
oversized.
So na tapo kupete ching kaptola, you know. And the crowd they were now booing. Then now I asked the team manager, may I go to the room? So I went to the room. When I got there, nothing was happening. Then I started meditating. I said, but me, I played in England. And I played in France. And I played in Navasungu. Why should I fear playing with this? You understand?
That's what that Europe tour did.
Yeah. I started meditating. I played in England. I played with those whites. Surely these guys are not a problem. So I went back, changed. Mwila out, me 7. 50 minutes to go. They would took a few squad. Don't pay my ball, my guys. You know any bony? You have no idea. So 10 minutes to go. Nakumisheve bola come in that particular.
It was passed to you?
No, yeah. What happened in that particular one is the one I scored. So they started now changing the direction. Kuli Sinyangwe. Batia. Yeah, Kuli Sinyangwe. Kuli left. And then he made an overlap, crossed. Me, even the defenders there say, we mfana msieni is not a threat. So they were trying to make it difficult in the middle. Obi, among the 3 defenders, he chested the ball. Bam. Then I cried. my ball. And he just laid.
For you.
For me. Outside the box. It was a bender which people, even now, they don't know.
Malawans,
even the goalkeeper didn't know where they hit.
What hit them?
But when they can't, but defender about Dick, yeah, umwacha tupususha. And I scored.
Wow.
The last 5 minutes, I played some good football. Now, Natampu send the ball in midfield, taking them on.
And now the Malawan fans, what happened?
I knew I wanted to make a penalty by Vika outside the box. 3 minutes to go. But Dick was over the bar. That's how they ended 1-1.
Wow, amazing. An interesting,
yeah.
interesting story.
Yeah,
though what we love to hear.
Yeah.
No, I would like to find out from you. You are now, you went to the Olympics.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said, because now you are trying to build up to the Olympics. It was after the Malawi game that you traveled to the Olympics. Where were the Olympics?
No, the next game we played, the qualifier, was against Sudan.
Okay, after the Malawi game.
And it was a tough game in Sudan. But we beat Sudan in Sudan to qualify to the Olympics.
And you played that game?
No, I came in as a substitute. So.
What happened at the Olympics?
Then we traveled to the Olympics. And we were the crack squad, including even the boxers, the likes of Loti Mwale, Standamuti, Lucky Mutale. They were on that trip. Can you imagine? Even us, we had a very good squad. But we were actually, when the fixture came out, we were playing Brazil, Honduras, and Spain. That's how that fixture was. So we are in the village for 2 weeks. We are preparing. We prepared very well and played 2 friendly games against Canada, the host. We beat them 2-1. And then, now the day before the official opening of the Olympics, we just got the news from Zambia to say the president has asked us to come back.
Why?
Because there was that apartheid where New Zealand played South Africa in their rugby. So most of the African teams had to withdraw from the games, including Kenya, who had even better athletes.
It was a protest.
It was a protest against apartheid.
Okay.
So,
but why is New Zealand coming in?
Well, because they played South Africa, who were not admitted to play international games. So it's not even if FIFA could allow the football team to play that time. So we are assisting those guys to liberate them.
And that's how much, that's a critical role that football, sports in general, played in helping to liberate South Africa. And Zambia was one of the teams. Yeah. No, let's move on. You now retired as a footballer. I don't know, before you retired, what are some of your key achievements with the national team? Of course, you qualified to the Olympics. Some of your key highlights before we go into your coaching career.
Actually, I coached the under 20.
Okay.
We won the COSAFA in Swaziland.
Okay.
But I was an assistant to Dick Chama.
Okay. That was when? Because I know of the 1983 COSAFA championships.
We won the under 20 in Swaziland. Then even Ashos Melo was an assistant together with Jones Chidenki.
Okay.
So 4 of us were in that trip.
Okay.
The next COSAFA was in Botswana, where I was also a senior coach now, together with Kalushawala's brother,
Benjamin. Okay.
We won the COSAFA in
under 20 level?
Under 20
okay.
in Botswana. So those are some of the achievements. Then when I was with Patrick Piri, we qualified for the Africa Cup in Morocco.
Okay.
Where the likes of Kilambe,
Rodson,
Babu, this number 9 who used to play for Cabo Verde, and was what is his full name? That guy, Perry Mutapazi. All these were there. Yes.
Gift Kampamba.
Yes.
Okay, they were there.
That was the squad. The next one, that particular tournament, we were beaten by South Africa. That is how this McCarthy.
Ben McCarthy.
Yeah, he was seen from that game.
Oh, okay.
What happened in that game? We were playing well and we were leading 1-0. We needed to win outright because there's 2 games we drew. So we needed to win the last game against
in Morocco.
Unfortunately, we were leading 1-0. Second half, one of our defenders was given a red card.
Sad.
So that's how they capitalized on our one-man down. But we pressurized. They only scored in the last 3 minutes. And we were put it out. McCarthy was even selected to go in Europe to go and play his professional football from that particular match. The next one, we qualified again, this time in Ghana, together with Patrick. This time, we came second, and we qualified to the World Cup.
1999.
Yes, 99. And we went to Nigeria. It was held in Nigeria.
So you were assistant to Patrick?
Yes, all along.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Leaving your coaching role at junior level, tell me more about your coaching career now. How did you go into coaching, taking the same passion you had in playing?
After I got injured and the City tried to mend my leg, it could not. They sent me to England for a month. I came back, tried to play again. It was a nagging, occurring injury. I could not continue. So they had to make arrangements for me to go to Brazil for a coaching course. And I was there for 3 months. And I met the likes of Zico. He was playing for Flamengo that time. And we were attached there for 2 weeks. And then another 2 weeks we were attached to Vasco da Gama. And, so those are the two teams we were attached to in the 3 months we were in Brazil. So when I came back, I tried to coach City, but because like I said earlier when we were during the pre-season, there was a tournament which was organized where the big teams like Nkana, Cabo Warriors and Mufrira were invited. And we lost our first game to Nkana by 5-0. And the following day, it was a Saturday, Sunday.
Brazil trained coach.
Yeah. And we lost 5-0 to Mufrira Wanderers. So the executives were not very comfortable with those results. Going into the league, they said, no, maybe he's still young, because I think I was around 27 years at that time, and I was quite young, And then
they removed you.
Yes, completely.
Hired you during preseason.
Yes,
removed you during preseason.
Correct.
Very unfair.
Then because I was already working for ZAFCA, and there was a team there, my Rangers in Lusaka. They just said thank you very much. And I went to join my Rangers.
Taking advantage of your Brazil.
And George Munga was the chairman at Malawi that time.
Okay.
George also learned his coaching from me, actually.
George Mungwa.
Yes, he was our chairman at Malawi Rangers.
Schoolboy International. Okay, then Zesco.
Then Zesco, when they were promoted, when Janza was the coach, they were promoted from Division 1 into Super League. At that time, when management decided to send me to Ndola as the technical director, and to stabilize the team, because they didn't want the team to be relegated first year. So they said, you go there and you're going to stabilize the team. So I went to work with the Janza in Ndola. Although it was a bit rough, the beginning was not very good. I think the first 6 games, we had picked only 3 points, 3 draws, and we lost 3. Okay. And we were right at the bottom. We were second from the bottom, Super League. So management were equally very worried about it. And by that time, we had done our pre-season in South Africa. And that umbrella you see them wearing today, it was us who negotiated together with Mr. Mumba.
Okay.
Mr. Mumba was
the former vice president?
He was my team manager at ZAFCA. Yeah.
Former first vice president.
He was my team manager at ZAFCA. And so the expectation was very, very high. So they had to drop Janza and the other assistant. So I remained with one assistant. We only 2 of us.
They never touched you?
No, they didn't touch me.
They still kept faith in you?
You won't believe this, because we had a lot of players around, but I had to trim the team to 30, and we started winning games. You can't believe it. We won 9 games.
In a row?
In a row. And we ended up number 6 from the top.
Okay.
That year.
Which season was that?
Is it 2003, 2004,
20. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Second year, we continued and we came second and we played continent.
Wow.
So that is that.
Interesting. Interesting. I would like to take you to something so dear to your heart, and that's school football.
Yes.
Because I don't want to leave this set without talking about that. You're a product of a very, very organized school football competition. And, in your view, what made school football so strong that even produced players who were picked by national team coaches?
Yeah, in fact, some of us were very lucky. When we went to secondary school, there was a period where I say PE. Okay? We used to have white teachers there.
Expatriates.
I think that's the best word. Those are the ones who were taking us for PE.
They were serious with football.
They were very serious about football. So we learned some of the things, how to trap the ball and how to distribute at school. But like I said earlier on, we used to play Chikumbi in the compound. It also helped us to shape and navigate our way somehow. So the combination of the compound and the school, I think it helped us a lot.
Great.
To shape our and the league, by the way, it was well organized league.
Youth league. School football.
School football was well organized. We had even school buses to take. We had at Livala we had the school bus to take us wherever we wanted.
Specifically for football.
Sports. So we could go to Kafue, go to Matero, and the league was very competitive.
I remember there was a final. I wasn't there. By then I was very young.
1975 we played the finals.
Not by then. I don't know whether 1970. Let me not talk about that. That was 90s somewhere there. But the 1975, where KK was even the guest of honor, and 14 of his cabinet ministers at Woodland Stadium. That was 1975. Yeah. And over 70 schools participated.
There's a time even who was this Manchester United
goalkeeper?
No, striker. The one who
Green?
The one who remained from that inferno, Manchester United. What's his name? Bobby Charlton.
Bobby Charlton
toured Zambia that time. The one you are talking about.
Okay.
And he watched our final school. Livala vs Kabulonga.
Wow. Yeah. Amazing. Now, I think on the same one, what do you think led to the decline of school football? And what do you think we should do to get back to where it started from? How can we revive school football?
Yeah. It's a very good, interesting question. That first of all, let's look at parents those days. They could, if they went to buy some relish, say in a shop, there was even a basket where there's tennis balls. They would buy those for children to go and play around.
Wow.
Which is not the case now. Two, let's look at the pitches. All the school pitches are no longer existing. The league, they've built classes, they've built houses, and that kind of stuff. So children have nowhere to play from. Even when you go into compound, there's nothing. The Chimpomba I'm talking about cannot even be played because there are no spaces. And the West is still, people are now building houses where they put the wall fence. The place is narrow, you can't even have those the games we used to play. So that also has led to our football to decline because these players are not coming through that menu. They only come to play football when they realize that 15 years you could have lost the basics. And it's very difficult for the coaches right now. They are finding it very difficult to coach those because we need players with the natural talent. The question you can ask is, people will ask, what are you talking about? If you look at a player like Kalusha Wara, for instance, what can you teach Kalusha Wara? Because he's an all-round. The coach, what he says is, please, can you play as a team? That is all he's asking Kalusha Wara to do. Because the rest is his. It's a natural. But we haven't got those natural players right now because they're not coming through.
What do we do then?
We just have to go back to our basics.
And what are those basics? First of all, we do not have the expatriate teachers that we had. We have to rely on
That's what I'm saying. Even when you go to school, the headmaster is not interested. There are not even a ball at school. We must go back to our basics, where there should be equipment in the school. And children must compete. First of all, the competition starts at school itself. You remember that days we used to play at the house A, house B, whatever.
Such things have stopped.
There's nothing. They can't compete because they don't have the equipment. They don't have the ground to play from. So we just have to go back to the basics. I'm afraid the school football is the only one which can do it because it caters a lot of pupils around. And like when we talk about youth football, because the same youth, they go to school and come back and play on the compound. But what we should do is we must encourage school football first.
Wow. I know this is a very interesting conversation, but time will always not be our best ally. I want you to quickly talk about the founding of the Zambia Football Coaches Association. You played a pioneering role. What inspired you to...
Immediately, because when I stopped, like I was saying, I was very young. Then I looked around, I said, we must have our own association. We started with the Midlands Coaches Association, where I was a chairman. You understand? And then the Core Belt also, they had to start theirs.
You inspired them?
Yes, they also had theirs now, Core Belt, where the late Kabaira was the chairman there. Because those days, there was nothing like president, you must be a chairman.
There was only one president.
There was only one president. Unlike now.
Where we have presidents with small p.
So, we started now organizing ourselves, even organizing courses. Each time there's a course, they will invite us. So, could you pick the coaches who can come for this particular course, blah, blah, blah. We could also now liaise with our friends, the Core Belt, would also send their coaches for that particular course. And that's how it started. And I was a chairman for a long time. From there, the Minister of Youth and Sports during the Kaunda era was Kebi Musokotan. He called all of us, you guys come here.
Under your umbrella.
Under my umbrella. They said, you guys, you must form one association, which is Zambia Coaches. In that particular meeting, Zoom was there, Mungwa was there. There were all those big people, Mr. Chimpinde, Chinena, Dick Chama, Boniface Mutu. We went to that ministry and we formed the Zambia Football Coaches Association, where Zoom Njov became the first president. Me, I became just a committee member. But after 3 years, I think Zoom died. Mungwa lost interest. So again, I remained with that association. We had our first election, AGM in Kabwe, and became the first chairman of Zambia Coaches. I took over from
the late Zoom.
Now, the interesting part is, after the disaster,
the mid-1993 disaster.
The football, FAS, they had to revise the constitution.
On your behalf?
No.
Sorry, their constitution.
The constitution of FAS constitution, where they said all those who are chairmen of the associations
should collapse.
They will be part of the...
Okay, the executive.
The executive.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
You understand? So it was referees, Zambia coaches, Zambia schools,
ZAFCA.
Then FUSO and all those. So we automatically became board members after the disaster.
After the
where Mr. Jabez Zulu was the chairman. Okay. Mr. Wonani was the vice.
And that was before Mr. Smata?
Smata was the one who was in charge to revise this. But them, they had done their work. Remember, after the disaster, they are the ones who were even... no, they were actually acting that time. Smata was in the acting.
As chairman.
Yes.
Of FAS.
Yes.
Okay.
And then it is now, they had to pick the 12 coaches, 6 from the Midlands and 6 from the Core Belt.
To assist Road.
It's us who come up with that team.
Okay.
After the
it's
disaster.
You who came up with that team.
Yes, correct. 6 from the Copper Belt, 6 from the Midlands.
So where did Road Posen join?
It was now after Freddie Mwila was in Botswana. So the government thought they could bring him over and take over as a coach, as a Zambian coach. He's the one who flew with the team to
Nigeria.
Denmark.
To Denmark.
That's why they met Paulson.
Oh.
It was a person who organized that training camp.
Okay.
You understand? Yes. So they had to come back. But Paulson was not given a contract. Then there was the black guy from England. I can't remember his name. He's the one who organized Ian Porterfield.
Okay.
So there was that rank between Paulson and who are we going to pick? But because that guy had an influence with the government, they picked on Ian Porterfield. Okay. That's how Paulson did not come that time.
Oh,
he only came after Ian Porterfield had left.
It was Porterfield that took the team to the 1994 AFCON.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, well, corrected. Look, it can only get more and more interesting. It can only get hotter than hot. Yeah. I would like us to play one game as we conclude. It's an interesting game. First of all, before we play this game, who inspired you to play football amongst these, the legends, both living and those that are not with us now?
Yeah, to me personally, I must be very honest with you. There was a man who used to organize the third team for City of Lusaka. They used to call it City Courts.
Okay.
They were training from outside the stadium. So this guy was organizing the youth. So one day, because my brother was playing for City, by the way. My brother was number 9. Peter Muhanga was number 8.
Okay.
Then there was Leti Kampeket and the rest. So I used to take the kit.
Okay.
I used to take the kit to Woodland Stadium. So one day, the guy who inspired me to play, he invited me. Hey, Mfana Shambulo, come here. Taulila, can you play? And I dribbled those characters. It's from there where he said, you'll be my player. I'll be picking you up.
What's his name?
Mr. Jerry.
Oh, great. You can't forget him. Oh, yeah, legend. It's now that interesting time where we play this game. So you just tell me which of these, will get your nod ahead of the other.
Correct.
Efford David Chavala, Tolomeo Mwansa, Kenneth Mwene. These are goalkeepers.
Yeah, I'll pick Kenneth because he actually went on to win even the Africa Cup of Nations.
Okay. These are your defenders. Dickson Makwaza, Akim Musenge, Stopila Sunzu.
I'll say Dick Chama.
Okay. Okay. Peter Mango, Billy Mwanza, Dick Chama.
Oh, I'll pick Peter Muhango.
Lewis Shambulo, Fred Mwila, Renford Kalawa.
Fred Mwila.
Why? Did you leave yourself out?
Yeah, but you see, he was more exposed than me. You can't take it away from him.
Great.
And he played in America. He played in the UK as a club. So I think he was more exposed. And he became national team coach.
Samuel Zumu Njovu, Godfrey Yuka Chitalu, Kalusha Bwala Pasondaka.
Zumu Njovu.
I don't want to I don't want you to give your reasons for that.
Oh, okay.
Let's go straight into your all-time best 11.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe because I'm coming from the old school.
You're free here.
Mr. Mwape.
Which Mwape?
Not Kenny Vati, the other one. Mwape. Ron United. What is his name?
In go?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll be telling us their positions.
Number 1, Mwape. Number 2, Mbaso. Number 3, Aki Musenge. Number 4, Dick Chama. Number 5, Makwaza. Number 6, Boniface Mtowe. Number 7, Simuala Moses. Number 8, Janice Mulambo. Number 9, Bernard Chanda. Number 10, Yuka Godfrey Chitaro. Number 11, Sinyangu.
You're not even including yourself on the lineup.
These are the ones I was learning from.
Oh, wow. So how is your bench looking like?
Yeah, I was trying to put the bench, but I've overtaken by events. But I can say, on that bench, I can put Kalusha. I can put Stopio Nsunzu. I can put Kaiser Kalambo. Goalkeeper, I can put Tolomeo Mwansa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he was very aggressive. And then Redford Calaba, I think I can put him on my bench.
Great. Yeah. As we come to the end of our conversation, what would be your last remarks?
Well, first of all, this interview has come at the right time, where I think people haven't had the chance to know what some of us did behind the scenes. And like in my case, I wear too many jackets. I am the vice president of Zambia Coaches. I am a life member at FAS. I am actually a trained instructor. Most of these coaches now who are coaching right now, they've come through my fingers. So I've done a lot behind the scenes. And in the last regime, I was sitting on the technical committee. So these are some of the things we don't talk about because we are hidden there, but we do a lot of things and make a lot of decisions for this country. And I think it is nice that I've been invited, and people, I'm sure, they will learn something from what I've said.
Thank you very much. Well, dear viewers, we have come to the end of this interesting conversation. I've been talking to the legend himself, LEWIS Shambulo. I call him Uncle Louis. He's a true legend himself, who continues screaming the loudest, beating the drums, singing songs about these our legends. And like I always keep emphasizing, we're not going to hog away the limelight from them because they are the ones who are the central figures in the game of football. Football administrators, mind you, just play an insignificant role in the game of football. But the footballers are the ones that should be given all the limelight, especially the media limelight. Thank you until next time when we have another interesting conversation. It's bye-bye.